or to work. Welcome to the part 3 of the 247th annual town meeting for the town of New London. And I just want to make an anecdote and then an announcement first. I was wondering when I was sitting up here, when was the last time the town meeting was held at this venue, at Whipple Hall? We have an answer.
1987.
I think that might not be correct. Peter Stanley and I were talking about it, and he remembers sitting up on the balcony as a kid in school watching the town meeting in 1960s.
Oh, the last time.
Right.
The last time was when Peter Stanley became fire chief, and he had to move the town meeting because we were over capacity.
Aha. Anyway, it's been a while since we've used this for an official purposes of town meeting. So welcome here for town meeting part 3. We're going to waive the usual reading of the Pledge of Allegiance and the Star Spangled Banner, and we're going to launch right into this item. And I just wanted to say this is another special time because for those of us that checked in, we all had to use the paper check-in books. And as you know, for elections, we have the electronic check-in poll pad devices. Well, I went to a moderator's workshop at the Society for the Protection of New Hampshire Forests, and we were talking about the use of poll pads to check in at town meeting, which would be a lot faster, and it would give us an instant count of how many people checked in. So Secretary of State Scanlon said to me, well, why don't you introduce an amendment to give it to your state senator, Senator Prentice, and see if they can get some election legislation, of which there was plenty of this last session, and see if they can amend a bill on the floor of the Senate to include the provision that poll pads can be used to check in for SB2 meetings, school meetings, and town meetings. So I drafted the amendment, sent it to the Secretary of State's office. They reviewed it, sent it back to me. I got it into the hands of Karen Ebel, our representative. She got it to Senator Prentice, and she shepherded it, actually. It went to several senators before we got one of them on the election section. And sure enough, as of June 13th, they were able to amend Senate Bill 43 on the floor to add the language that we wanted to allow poll pads to be used for check-in at town meeting. And it's concurred by the Senate, and it's headed to the governor for signature. So, fingers crossed, in March, we'll be using poll pads to check in a town meeting. Okay, we are here for one purpose today. And I guess the question is, how do we get here? Well, we started on March 13th with a regular warrant. The warrant is the business of the meeting that's prepared by the selectmen and signed, and is for the voters to consider. And we went through all the articles on that, and there was 2 articles that we voted to reconsider, 3 and 9. Now, we didn't anticipate that they would be reconsidered, and we dropped the ball because we should have had a date certain that we could tell you at that meeting when the reconsideration meeting would occur, and we didn't do that. We did have the reconsideration meeting in May at the college. We timed it when the students weren't there so we could use that beautiful gymnasium, and it worked out really well. But in such circumstances, the legislature has required us to legalize that meeting that wasn't properly noticed. And that is the ratification process. And that is why we are here tonight, for the sole purpose of ratifying the May meeting at the college, which incorporates by reference the March 13th meeting. So, are there any questions on that? Well, I can't ask a question yet because we don't have a motion on the floor. So which of the selectmen would like to read the motion before the assembly?
That would be me.
Turn your microphone on, Bibi, and
Okay.
have at it.
All right. I move to ratify the results of the March 12th town meeting and the subsequent May 14th reconsideration meeting of Articles number 3 and number 9, even though the date, time, and place for the reconsideration meeting was not announced at the March 12th town meeting pursuant to RSA 40:10-2.
Correct. And we are ratifying this meeting under the provisions of RSA 31.5B, for the record. Okay. Do I have a second?
I do.
We have a second. Is it now? It's time for the discussion. I can put my glasses on so I can see anybody raise their hand. Is there any discussion on what we're doing here? Seeing none, are you ready for the question? All right, this is great. Everybody that's in this room that's voting should have one of these little cards here. So if you are in favor of the motion as read, signify by raising your green cards. All those opposed? It's pretty clear to me, the ayes have it. We are done with the 247th town meeting for the town of New London. Thank you all.